Hey, this is Noah from the Bonafide Scrubs. Going to be doing a lot of more videos like this where I give some thoughts and analysis on some recent NBA, NFL, and MLB news. So let's get right into this. First thing I want to talk about is Collin Sexton. He is in trade rumors. The Knicks and the Heat are potential suitors for him. And I think the New York Knicks should make a big move for him because he's only 24 years or 22 years old, actually. He's coming off of a great season with the Cavs, averaging 24 points per game. 47% shooting, 37 from the field. He's an efficient scorer. The playmaking and defense is something for concern, but the Knicks, I mean, they were top 5 in defense this year. They were 4th in the NBA in defensive rating, and they literally, I mean, these guys, Reggie Bullock, Derrick Rose, they had guys that were notably not known for being great defenders, and Tibbs turned them into an awesome defensive team in New York. So I think Sexton would definitely get better around a winning environment. I mean, him and Garland, they clearly can't play together. They both are guards that need the ball to score and pass, and they aren't great at defense. So I think, and in Cleveland, they have the 3rd pick in this draft. I think they want to move off Sexton. They don't like his attitude in the locker room. They don't like how he doesn't pass enough to teammates. I mean, Kevin Love he voiced his opinion on Sexton and other people behind his back not passing the ball enough. So I think it's a bad fit. In Cleveland, I think Cleveland likes Garland moving forward. And they have the 3rd pick, which means, I mean, if Cade and Mobley go 1 and 2, then Jalen Green could potentially become a Cleveland Cavalier who could be an all-time great player. So I think Cleveland try to get whatever assets they can for Sexton, move off of him. And I think the Knicks would be perfect to get him because they lacked shooting, shot creation. You saw how in the first round in the playoffs, I mean, they just couldn't score enough. I mean, they could defend the Hawks pretty well. Most of the games are close, but when Julius was off and he was getting doubled, they didn't have another guy to go and get a bucket. RJ Barrett's going to get there eventually, but it's his first playoff series. I mean, he's good, but not a great player yet in this league. So Sexton averaging 24. I mean, if we look at someone else's age 22 season, the same age Sexton is currently, I mean, look at this. It's going to be on the screen right now. 23 points per game, worse shooting than Sexton and worse 3-point shooting. Can you guys guess who that is? Yes, that is Donovan Mitchell. So Sexton had a better age 22 season than Donovan Mitchell. Granted, right now, is he a better player than Donovan Mitchell? No, he's not. Donovan's a little taller too. I'd say he's a better playmaker. And I mean, if Donovan was on the Cavs, how would his career narrative be? I mean, he was drafted into a great Utah organization. They have Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, a lot of great defenders, and Utah was the 1 seed this year. Mitchell's main job is just to score the basketball. Everyone else does the work on the defensive end and rebounding end. So I think people are too early to write off Collin Sexton. We've seen people change the narrative in their careers. Devin Booker, I mean, he was seen as just a scorer and a stat patter, and he couldn't win anything. But then Chris Paul gets there, and now they're playing in the NBA Finals. They have a chance to win the NBA Finals with Booker's elite scoring ability. I know Sexton is shorter than those guys, but I think he'll become a better playmaker. And if the Knicks, they might only have to give up Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox in the 19th pick. I would definitely do that because, I mean, Toppin, the Knicks didn't see this coming from Julius Randle this season. They did not see such a great player and a most improved player winner happening. So basically, if you trade Toppin, you let the league know that this didn't work out. I mean, this pick failed. I mean, we weren't expecting Julius to be good. Move off of him. I mean, Toppin's it's going to be hard for him to find playing time under this Knicks roster with Randall and other big men. So I think getting Sexton, moving a few assets for Sexton would be an ideal move for the Knicks this season. And it would give them another scoring option, maybe even sign Lonzo Ball in free agency. You can have Lonzo Ball and Collin Sexton as the backcourt. So I really like this. I know Sexton is eligible for a 5-year, 168 mil max contract extension, but he might not be. I mean, you might not have to give that to him. I mean, clearly, I mean, you could play it out for a year. Maybe you can get off from 4 years, like 100 mil. Maybe he's not. You don't think he's worth the max, but if he joins the Knicks and he becomes an all-star and he changes his career around, you might have to pay him. And the narrative around him can change. He could be a really great player. He could be the Knicks version of Donovan Mitchell potentially. Not as athletic, but Sexton's a workhorse on both sides of the ball. So I think getting Collin Sexton would make the New York Knicks a better basketball team, and maybe they can win a playoff series with Sexton added to this roster and a few other score shooters they need. And the Knicks, they could be a great basketball team moving forward. Just got to trade a few assets, get Collin Sexton on the Knicks. He's right there. You don't have to give up 7 first-round picks in your whole future, just like the Knicks would have to for Damian Lillard. So I really like this. I think the Knicks, personally, they should go and get Collin Sexton. I think it makes sense. You don't see 24 points per game scores at age 22 on the trade block that often. So the Knicks got to take advantage of this poor Cavs franchise, how they've been poorly run since LeBron James has left. They've been bottom 5 every single year. And the Cavs, and they're willing to give away Sexton for not that much. So I think the asking price is right. And I think the Knicks should go and get Sexton and make their team a lot better.